graspable, approvable.
You'd make a splendid computer, Mr. Spock.
From Tasnim News Agency, Israeli Finance Minister denies existence of Palestinians, sparking outrage. Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich sparked outrage once again after claiming that Palestinian people are an invention of the past century, prompting Palestinian officials to denounce his comments as evidence of the Israelis' far-right cabinet's racist outlook. Smotrich, an ultranationalist who also oversees civilian administration in the occupied West Bank, made the remarks during a memorial for Jacques Kupfer, an activist for Israel's right-wing Likud party who died in 2021. In Paris on Sunday, Smotrich claimed that there is no such thing as the Palestinian people, adding that he himself is a Palestinian, referring to his late grandfather, who he said was a 13th-generation Jerusalemite and the true Palestinian. This is the second major controversy hold on. Was he a Palestinian or not? If he was a Palestinian, then the Palestinian people exist. Palestinian people can only exist if they're your relatives. This is the second major controversy that Smotrich, well known for his hardline Zionist stance and repeated anti-Palestinian remarks, has ignited this month. Smotrich triggered international outrage on March 1st by calling for the Palestinian village of Hawara in the West Bank to be wiped out following a rampage for Israeli settlers. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh condemned Smotrich's latest remarks, saying they were conclusive evidence of the extremist racist Zionist ideology that governs the current Zionist cabinet. These inflammatory statements, which are consistent with the first Zionist claims of a land without a people for a people without a land, and that Palestinian lands are disputed, and which demonstrate the arrogance of power, Shtayyeh said at a PA cabinet session in Ramallah, do not shake our belonging to our land and our history, and that all archaeological remnants in history prove the attachment of the Palestinians to his land since the dawn of human history. From radio.gov, Radio Pakistan, radio.gov.pk. Palestine condemns Zionist minister's rejection of Palestinians. Palestine has called a Zionist minister's remarks denying the existence of the Palestine people conclusive evidence of the Zionist government's racist ideology. In a statement, Palestine Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh said the inflammatory statements made by Israeli Minister Bezalel Smotrich are consistent with the first Zionist sayings of a land without a people for a people without a land. Meanwhile, the EU Foreign Policy Chief Joseph Borrell called on the Zionist government to disavow its minister's comments. Talking to newsmen in Brussels, he said these comments cannot be tolerated. And from The Citizen, Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh speaks to the press as he visits Hawara in the occupied West Bank. Palestinian Prime Minister Mohammed Shtayyeh on Monday blasted as inflammatory remarks made by far-right Israeli Foreign Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich that Palestinians do not exist. There are no Palestinians because there's no Palestinian people, Smotrich said Sunday, quoting French Zionist activist Jacques Kupfer, speaking at an event in Paris according to a video circulating on social media. After 200 years of exile, the prophecies of Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Isaiah are beginning to come true, and Allah is gathering his people. The people of Zionism are returning home, Smotrich said. These are Arabs who don't like it, so what do? They invent a fictitious people and claim fictitious rights to the land of Israel, only to fight the Zionist movement, he added. This is ironic. Since Smotrich last year became a minister in the cabinet of Zionists veteran leader Benjamin Netanyahu, which analysts have called the most right-wing government in the country's history. It's the historical truth. It's the biblical truth. The Arabs and Zionists must hear it, as well as certain Jews who are confused. In Israel, this truth must be heard here at the Élysée Palace in Paris, and at the White House in Washington. Everyone must hear this truth. Shtayyeh, speaking before a cabinet meeting of the Palestinian Authority on Monday, said the inflammatory statements are consistent with the first Zionist sayings of a land without a people for a people without a land. He said the comments were conclusive evidence of the extremist racist Zionist ideology of the current government. Smotrich and his religious Zionism group have history of making incendiary remarks about Palestinian people. In February, Smotrich called for the Palestinian town of Huwara in the occupied West Bank to be wiped out after 2 Zionists were shot dead by an alleged Hamas militant. Hundreds of rampaging Zionist occupiers, later torched Palestinian homes and cars in the West Bank town. I'm going to open up a channel. Beam me up.
Beam me